Johnny here for Johnny's Car Care and Advice. So today what I want to talk to you about is the two-door Bronco versus the four-door Bronco. So I'd like to discuss what differences occur when you jump from a two-door Bronco to a four-door Bronco, because I've been reading online, some people wondering, are they the same length? What are the differences going to be? And I'm going to try to get that down in a manner that's quick and concise. So let's jump right to it. Okay, so the first noticeable difference is that the two-door Bronco comes with a hard top. Now, if you don't want to have delays on your Bronco, you got to stick with that molded standard hardtop for the two-door. And the difference when you jump to a four-door is it's not going to come standard with a hard top. It's going to come standard with a soft top, kind of like on the Mustang here. So it should be a canvas soft top. Now that has its perks, because the four-door, if you've got that canvas soft top coming standard with it, it's going to be real easy to just, maybe have one, two clamps to open up, and then you're going to be able to put back that roof and get sun for the driver and the passenger real easily. Now, I've watched some videos on it. It's actually also pretty easy to put the roof back further. But then removing the entire roof does require storing it somewhere. And something to keep in mind is when you have a canvas top, it can get damaged pretty easily. I've already done some very mild damage on the top of my canvas top on the Mustang. So speaking from experience, it does get damaged easily. You got to be careful. And of course, if you're leaving it in your garage, you're increasing your chances of damage, which is harder to fix. Now, the two-door. Back to that hard top. It also has its advantages, and the first one being that it's durable. It's a hard top. It's molded plastic, and you won't have any delays if you do take the standard top and you don't try to order it either white or black. So or the color of the vehicle. So get the standard top if you don't want any delays. And then, keep in mind that the two front panels do come off. Every model of Bronco comes with the carry sacks. And the two front panels, that's the driver's panel and the passenger's panel, come off very easily. Then you got to put them in the sacks so they don't get all scratched up. And they fit in the trunk. So that's a great advantage for the Bronco. Your two front panels do fit in the trunk. Now, you can get a hardtop for the four-door Bronco, and if you order the additional hardtop, you're going to have the two roofs, and it looks like you won't be getting your Bronco for 2021 if you want the two roofs for the four-door. Now, those are the pretty simple, straightforward differences that you can see with, just playing around on the website, the Build and Price website. Now for some stuff that requires a little bit more digging. The two-door Bronco is 16 inches shorter than the four-door Bronco. Being that you have 16 inches shorter for the two-door Bronco, someone left a really great comment saying, it's going to be less practical. And I don't know if the comment was talking about just about access to the back seat, or if it was touching upon or hinting at the impracticality of vehicles with shorter wheelbases. Generally, a vehicle with a shorter wheelbase, that's the distance between the two wheels, is going to have more of a chance to spin out when you're driving at high speeds on a slippery surface or a loose surface. So whether you're on sand, that's a very loose surface, gravel that has just been graded, if the road's just been worked, gravel is extremely slippery, and snow. Now, of course, wet grass would also create a slippery surface or a loose surface. So in all those situations, generally a short wheelbase will cause a vehicle at high speed to have a tendency, if it starts to lose control, to really lose control. Now, I had a 91 Grand Cherokee, and I had this happen to me on the highway in the snow, going about 60 miles per hour. It was not fun. I completely spun around, and I was lucky enough to do a full 360 and get the nose pointing more or less back in the right direction. Didn't have an accident, but it could have gone very differently. Jeeps in the past have had, there has been talk about them being a little more hard to control, and that the shorter the wheelbase you get, that becomes more prevalent and more of an issue. I don't think it's going to be an issue for the two-door Bronco. So in other words, I think road handling at high speeds, you're not going to have a huge difference between the two-door and the four-door. And traditional knowledge and just, experience would say the contrary. It would say that the two-door with, the shorter distance between the wheels will definitely be an issue. However, here's why I don't think it's going to be that much of an issue. Ford has torque vectoring, and torque vectoring is a great system. Also, their 4x4 system is, it's got a lot of intelligence behind it. The vehicle, up to, many times per second, can change how much power it sends to each wheel. That, combined with playing with how much braking or light braking it can also add to each wheel independently. So when you're looking at both power distribution being able to be sent at different percentages between all the wheels, and that this braking or light braking between the four wheels can occur, several times per second, you have a vehicle that I'm quite confident, even on the two-door model, is going to be great at driving at highway speeds on a loose or slippery surface. My experience would also speak to that. My 95 Mustang, it was hard to control even in the rain. It was not pleasant to drive on a rainy day, and I generally wouldn't take it out on a rainy day because the back end had tendency to have a little left-right fun. And, that's fun when it's under control, but not so fun when you lose control. Now, I've also driven at least, as about 3.5 winters, with Mustangs that are far newer, that have, what I would call an intelligent rear-wheel drive system. So I drove a convertible 2012 in the winter. I drove a hardtop 2011 in the winter. My 2016 EcoBoost 2.3 liter also saw a good pretty much all winter. And one of those Mustangs, I actually was forced to go into snowstorms every day because I was living about 40 minutes away from work. So that's 40 minutes in the morning, 40 minutes at night. I've driven up to about 3 inches of snow with a Mustang. And what I can say is that intelligent rear-wheel drive the Mustang, even though it's rear-wheel drive, which is sort of the worst combination for traction, is having a lot of weight up front, less weight in the back, and your power being sent to the back wheel. So if your weight's in the front, your power is being applied on the back wheels, and that your back end is lighter, which, does describe a Mustang quite well. It has a tendency to go left, right, and all over the place when you add gas, the gas pedal. And my experience with my winter driving with the Mustang is, while the vehicle would ever so slightly start to move a little bit left or right, the vehicle would take control, distribute the power, and when need be, the brakes adequately enough so that the vehicle would stay in a straight line. Now, part of my driving required me to go up a hill at highway speeds, about 65 miles per hour, and also a very steep hill at about 40 miles per hour. And in both situations, I was able to climb those hills, get up those hills while maintaining speed and driving in a straight line. So that's why I think that when, if you're having trouble picking between the two-door Bronco and, of course, the more expensive four-door Bronco, now that's the most obvious difference, is the price. If you're having trouble deciding and what's been holding you back on the two-door Bronco is that you've been thinking it's going to be horrible on slippery surfaces, I'd say I really don't think that's going to be the case. And you know, I'm going to add here a little video of my F-150 in 2x4 mode, so only power on the back wheels, with of course pickups, also are relatively light in the back end, and not the best winter tires. You know, a winter specific tire, a tire that's made really just for winter driving, is definitely better in the snow than a BF Goodrich KO2. And what I have on my truck are BF Goodrich KO2s, and you'll see in the video that it does a pretty decent job of going from a full standstill to accelerating and having, you know, only minor slippage. And you know, the roads were pretty bad. They weren't filled with a lot of snow, but that slush was actually quite slippery, and the truck stayed in a straight line. So I'll let you check it out and decide for yourself.
So here's my Marauder having a lot of trouble in regards to wheel spin. It does not have the technology of my F-150. So just to demonstrate the two, I had to let go of the pedal because the vehicle was starting to move quite a bit left-right. You don't see it as well in the video, but from the inside of the vehicle, I definitely did not feel confident about how this vehicle was moving forward. There's, you know, another rear-wheel drive vehicle, but with newer technology, having no issues going up the hill. Now, here's my F-150 in 2x4 mode, so rear-wheel drive only, and you know, I put down the pedal just as much as I did with the Marauder and had no issues whatsoever going up the hill. I don't have winter-specific tires. I have BFG's, BF Goodrich KO2 tires, and no issues going up the hill. The truck keeps itself in a straight line. Both wheels, as you can see, were turning and moving the vehicle forward. So, you know, I'm really not worried about the Bronco being a two-door model with a shorter wheelbase. And you know, that shorter wheelbase, if I remember correctly, it is a little bit longer than the Jeep's two-door wheelbase. But when it comes down to it, I don't think it's going to be an issue, because the Bronco, I expect that, you know, the difference we saw between my Marauder being rear-wheel drive and having the technology off on it and older technology, it really had trouble going up the hill. Well, I wasn't able to go up the hill in a straight line. Whereas the F-150, I had it in rear-wheel drive, both wheels were turning, it went straight up that slight hill, even though that was really, you know, slush, and the tires were filled with, you know, compact slushy snow. So you know, what we see here from the Bronco videos of the Bronco running around at high speeds, driving through loose sand, you know, I do believe whether you have a two-door or a four-door, you're gonna have great experience driving, you know, doing your daily drive. If you're driving in the snow, or when you do go off-roading in the sand, I don't have any issues. I don't think there'll be very many issues at all with the vehicle losing control and spinning completely out of control. It's the technology that's going to keep the vehicle in a straight line. So between Ford's system that distributes power unevenly amongst the wheels multiple times per second and the torque vectoring, we're going to have a great vehicle. So I hope this video has helped you in considering the two-door, despite it having a shorter wheelbase, and hope that it helps you pick out your Bronco soon and get into a dealership to put in your order. Now, if this video has been useful, please like and subscribe. Just bringing it out in the snow today, show you how it performs out here. We'll do a stop to full acceleration in the snow. Get it up to 50, keep it there. Going up a nice hill,